Hey everyone, this is Rabbit Explore Animation Bliss, and welcome to another At the Movies Corner, where I talk about the most recent animated movies that I've seen. So the most recent animated movie that I've seen for today is this Netflix movie called Klaus. And before I get into this, I would like to remind everyone that new videos will be posted up every Sunday and Monday. If you haven't seen the videos posted up during the week, that must mean there was a bit of animated news released in the week that I wanted to cover, so those will be considered special videos. So now let's talk about this new animated movie that came out on Netflix called Klaus. So basically what this movie is all about is about a young man named Jesper who's like the son of a postmaster, and he spends most of his days just lounging around doing nothing and being spoiled by the servants. And one day his father decided to send Jesper out to the middle of nowhere. Like he sends him to this village called Smearsburg, and Jesper has to deliver like 6,000 letters before the year's up, or else his father would cut him off from his would basically cut him off. So Jesper has to figure out a way how to deliver 6,000 letters before his time is up. And while Jesper's at Smearsburg, he ends up meeting this big man named Klaus. And it turns out that Jesper and Klaus become really good friends, and Jesper finds out that Klaus actually loves making toys, and so Jesper uses this to his advantage to have more kids mail letters to him so they can have toys for Christmas. And that's basically what this movie is all about. It's about Jesper becoming friends with Klaus, and how this is basically an origin story for Santa Claus himself. So, what are my thoughts about this movie? I love this movie. I never expected to love this movie as much as I did. I think this has become one of my favorite Christmas movies to watch every year now because it's just such a good movie. Like I never expected to enjoy this movie as much as I did. But what I really liked about this movie is that it's done in traditional animation, or it's done in a style that's similar to traditional animation or 2D animation. Like there's still a lot of 3D animation movements around the characters, but for the most part it is 2D animation, and that's what I really liked about this particular movie, because we don't see a lot of 2D animation in a lot of movies nowadays. But it's great that we have a movie that's kind of done in 2D animation, and it's done in this sort of like a Disney style animation, like the Disney style that we saw from the 1990s, when Disney was making 2D animation movies in the 1990s and the early half of the 2000s. The movie has a similar style to that, and it feels like it could be a Disney movie in a way, but it's not a Disney movie. It's a Netflix movie, but it has a Disney aesthetic to it, and that's what I really liked about the animation with the movie. Um, as for the story and the characters themselves, I really love the story itself. I like the fact that this is like another origin story for Santa Claus. And even though I've seen a lot of Christmas specials where they talk about the origin story of Santa Claus, I never seen one that's done in a realistic way like this one is. Like this one doesn't have a lot of magical elements like you see in a lot of Santa Claus stories. But this one's like more realistic, and it has like Santa Claus, or Klaus as he's called, be more grouchy at the beginning, but of course he softens up over time, and he also makes toys like Santa Claus does. Um, but they still show it in a more realistic way, and I really like that aspect of Klaus's character, that he's like a more realistic version of Santa Claus, and it takes some time over the movie to like see his more sweeter side. And I also like the main character Jesper, the postman, because we get to see that he started out as a spoiled brat who just doesn't want to do anything and just want to live off his father's riches. But as he lives in the town of Smearsburg, and he starts seeing the people for what they are, he starts becoming a nicer character over the course of the movie. And I really enjoy seeing the character development that Jesper goes through. And I like the fact that the plot of this movie is basically about these feuding families like fighting each other, and Jesper and Klaus being there, trying to make sure that all the townspeople get along with each other and stop fighting with each other. And I like seeing that aspect of the story, since it shows that the whole point of this movie is for these two families to actually try to get along with each other and just bring joy to the town. And that's what I enjoy seeing in this movie, is how Klaus and Jesper try to bring joy to the town of Smearsburg, and help the people realize that they need to get along with each other, and just be happy again. And that's what I really enjoyed about this movie. And There's not much wrong with this movie, honestly. Like, I didn't have much of a problem with this movie. I thought this movie had a really good story. I think it had really good characters, and I love the animation for this movie because it's like done in 2D animation, which is rare nowadays to see a film that's in 2D animation, but this one was done in it, and I really enjoyed that animation style. And it is a great Christmas movie to watch for during the Christmas holidays. I found the story to be very heartwarming, and I also found it to be very hilarious in times. Like I like how Jesper is like sarcastic at times, but he can be friendly when the situation calls for it. So that's what I really enjoy about this movie. So overall, I really enjoyed the movie Klaus. I think it's like one of the best Christmas movies I've seen all year, and this is definitely going to be a movie that I'm going to be watching every year for Christmas at this point forward, as long as Netflix still has this particular movie playing on their streaming service. So that's my review for Klaus. And tell me in the comments down below, have you seen the movie Klaus? And if you have, did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Do you like the fact that it was in 2D animation? Please feel free to comment down below. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter so we can keep you updated any new videos we post up. And also, like our Facebook page. And also join our new Facebook group, Chat with Animation Bliss, where we talk about animation with other animation fans. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.